touching on the top quarterback plays here for week 1. Now, if you guys haven't already done so, make sure to watch the running backs video. These are going to work hand in hand. I already did that video, kind of just breaking down the slate. And as you can see, we are getting a bunch of good running back value. So what we want to figure out is if we want to pay up at the quarterback position. And I already did kind of do a preview video earlier on, when the salaries both came out, but this is kind of what I'm looking for when I'm looking at the quarterback position, guys. I want a quarterback that's going to be most likely to 3X. 3Xing is just, let's say a quarterback is $5,000 on a slate. That doesn't really happen, but for example purposes, he would have to put up 15 DraftKings points to be able to 3X, okay? What I want to be looking for, though, specifically is do they have a favorable matchup? And yes, for week 1, that's very much a toss-up. Like, that is an educated guess. And really up until week 4, we don't exactly know which defenses are going to be good, great, or stale, or a favorable match. We're making educated guesses there based off of what we saw last season, based off of what we saw this preseason, okay? Sometimes we think we know, and that doesn't happen, okay? And then also, I want to be looking at the possibility to stack a receiver or tight end. And honestly, more tight end, receiver as well. If the price point's right, I'm perfectly fine to do that. And these were the quarterback targets that I started out with this, a week and a half ago, or a month and a half ago when the salaries first came out. Let's see if those still hold up. So my biggest issue with paying up for the running backs, guys, was that we did not have a lot of safety. Like, I do think Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs, those are kind of the clear-cut standout running backs that we want to be paying up for. I don't think we have that for the quarterback position. Like, we go down this list, we see Lamar Jackson against Houston. Sure, we would expect this to be one in which he should be able to go out and play well. Obviously, his pass catchers are going to be healthy. He's going to be healthy as well. Knock on wood there for the Baltimore Ravens. But yeah, I don't really think we have to worry about the matchup too much with Houston. Yeah, if you want to pay up for a quarterback, it does make sense to pay up for Lamar because, one, better passing targets to throw to, and two, he probably will be rushing the ball as much as we saw him rush last year. So I'm not too worried about that with Lamar Jackson. Jalen Hurts does get a difficult matchup going against the New England Patriots. Now, I would say a similar matchup was that with the New York Giants, where last year, mixed results, okay, 30 against them in week 14, 9.46, and then 23.5. Honestly, we're going to need more out of Jalen Hurts than that. Now, given the running back room there's kind of a lack of clarity. I do think we're going to see Jalen Hurts be, a stud, but do we want to play him? I don't think we do. And then we get into Justin Fields. Guys, I don't like playing quarterbacks that can't throw the ball accurately. I just don't. And that's Justin Fields. Like, sure, against Green Bay, he could go off, and he only had 21.26 points against them in week 13. And then we look at week 2, 9.8. Like, I don't know. I feel like teams are going to have a full offseason to figure out how to stop Justin Fields on the ground, or at least contain him more. And people probably drawing some conclusions between really Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts, saying, oh, they're kind of the same quarterback. No, we watched Justin Fields, guys, and he struggles to hit the easy passes. Now, the easy passes that we saw this preseason, DJ Moore was able to turn into massive plays. And obviously, Khalil Herbert and DJ Moore both took touchdowns to the house as well on like little dump off passes. So if that's all he's asked to do, sure, he can get there. I just don't expect that. And the Green Bay Packers defense is a defense I think is going to be really good. Joe Burrow, return to practice. How healthy will he be? Obviously gets a difficult matchup there against Cleveland. So really the starting point at the quarterback position, and I don't feel like this is like a difficult click. Like, this is probably the most obvious click on the slate, right? Justin Herbert, guys. Justin Herbert last year did have a down year, but he still threw for 5,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. They brought in a new offensive coordinator who's honestly going to be an upgrade in Kellen Moore, and they have a healthy offense. That is the biggest takeaway. We know with the Los Angeles Chargers, it's the same story every single year. They both find ways to choke, and they also both find ways for their good players to get injured, which seemingly takes away from a promising season, and it just becomes a letdown season. That being said, this is week 1, guys. They're going to be healthy in week 1. Knock on wood, because Keenan Allen got injured in week 1 last year and kind of hurt Justin Herbert's fantasy value. And then obviously we remember Justin Herbert getting hit in the ribs in that primetime game. And, I really felt like that hindered his ceiling as well. He played through it. And honestly, I think we're getting him at the cheapest price tag he's going to be at all season. Gets a great matchup against Miami. I think this game is going to be the best game to stack. And it's just tough not to love Justin Herbert there. And the only issue that I have with Justin Herbert is I don't want to play the tight end there. And so from there, where else can we go at the quarterback position? Trevor Lawrence, I'm fine with. I think that's going to be a very popular click. Tua as well. I think that's going to be a popular click. I would much rather just pay up for Justin Herbert. My issue with Trevor Lawrence is really not much. Honestly, we could just see ETN, Bigsby maybe score a rushing touchdown. Maybe the ceiling's just a little bit capped for Trevor Lawrence. But obviously, he got an upgrade at receiver, going from Marvin Jones to Calvin Ridley, and obviously he still has Zay Jones and also Christian Kirk there. So the offensive weapons are there. Got an upgrade, I think, at the running back 2 position there with Travis Etienne. That's a joke, guys. I do think Tank Bigsby is more of the early down running back than ETN, although I think that's going to be 50-50. So yeah, he could easily end up being the highest scoring quarterback on the slate, and we wouldn't bat an eye. Like, it makes sense. The play that I loved early on before the Jerry Jeudy news was Russell Wilson, because I love the fact that we could stack him with the too cheap Courtland Sutton. The pricing difference between those two has been so weird, and I feel weird to say this, but it's nice to kind of get rewarded for the weird discrepancy there by just going in on Courtland Sutton just because of the ADP difference. And now this week as well, the pricing difference between between Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton is still strange. We do still have that stacking opportunity, but we got Russell Wilson at 5.9. This offense should be much better, and we already saw kind of Russell run a little bit more in the preseason. He is expected to run a little bit more, and honestly, he was really productive at the tail end of the season last year. You know, all 4 games, and this sounds weird to say, all 4 games over double-digit points, and he had 3 games scoring 20 plus points. I do think we have a great opportunity to get 20 plus points like he did in week 4 against Las Vegas. Okay. Like the other game against Las Vegas, threw for 247 passing yards. So that's obviously good there as well. With Javonte Williams still recovering from injury, I do think they're going to fall to Russell Wilson a little bit more early on this season. Okay. Javonte Williams is expected to have his workload. I don't want to say limited. I don't think they're going to do that. Oh God, unlimited with Russell Wilson. I did not try to do that. But I do think they are going to be kind of cautious with it. And so once again, Russell Wilson might find himself getting a higher kind of workload, maybe on the ground game, maybe more design runs there. And then from there, this is my issue at the quarterback position. This is where I'm struggling with paying up for Justin Herbert, because guys, we have seen 3 quarterbacks really be impressive thus far this preseason. Brock Purdy is going to be one of those quarterbacks. He has looked super good since he's returned from injury. That offense is going to be highly productive. Yes, they're going against Pittsburgh, a defense that we all expect to be better this season because they're going to be healthy. That's the biggest worry, and I think that's the biggest reason why he's priced at 5.4. But he is certainly someone you could easily stack, whether that be Debo. Heck, you could run out Christian McCaffrey. I think I'd be fine with that. Kind of unique there, obviously. Maybe George Kittle you want to roll with. I'd be fine with that. Then we also have Derek Carr. Derek Carr gets a pretty good matchup going against Tennessee, and Derek Carr was very impressive thus far this preseason. And the best part about Derek Carr, guys, is that you could easily stack him with someone that is going to be at a much higher price tag after week 1. That's going to be tight end Juwan Johnson. Okay, his ADP has skyrocketed. He's been someone that I was targeting a bunch really after week 1 of the preseason, because he seems to be a focal point. He's been very impressive, I guess, thus far this preseason in camp. Him and Derek Carr seem to have a connection there. And so honestly, if we're playing Derek Carr at the quarterback position, we are playing Juwan Johnson. If you want to pair him up with Michael Thomas or also with Chris Olave, you could. Another point that I want to bring up there as well is that they are kind of a little bit banged up at the running back position. They might be defaulting to Jamal Williams a little bit more, which honestly, guys, he's not terrible. We know Jamal Williams is a solid running back in the NFL, but he's not elite. I don't think we really have to worry about him busting a big play. So with that, I think Derek Carr might be the play at the quarterback position. The only issue with Derek Carr is that we are getting Jordan Love at 5K, which is just a head scratcher to me. Going against the Chicago Bears defense, which, guys, I'm a Packers fan, don't get me wrong, but I like this Chicago Bears team. I thought if they had tried last year, they could have been, at least a 7-win team. They weren't trying to win last year. They are kind of sort of trying to win this year as well. But that defense, they have some playmakers there. That being said, they were one of the defenses that we targeted heavily when playing a receiver or quarterback. And I think that's going to be the case again this year still. I guess I wouldn't be surprised, though, if they are better than expected. That being said, Jordan Love, I would say, has looked way better than a lot of people have expected. Not only has he been good this preseason throwing the football, like here's a good fade route to Christian McCaffrey, just perfectly placed ball there. Sorry, Christian Watson, not Christian McCaffrey. Here was just another good read. I mean, this is in the Seattle game. There isn't much to it, but very good read there by him to really hit Luke Musgrave there, set him up for that touchdown to Christian Watson. And this is one of the plays where he just looked impressive in the pocket, knew how to make the defender miss, and they knew when to take off. I was actually a little bit disappointed by that quarterback slide and also not getting rough on the passer there, or I guess it would be unnecessary roughness. And then here's another good pass this preseason. I mean, just a level 3 ball, just lost it up there for Romeo Doubs to run underneath, and just a perfectly placed ball. Like, I don't think people realize just how good he's looked, and I don't think we're going to get him at this price tag, given the rushing upside that he has, given the fact that he's probably going to score a few touchdowns here against the Bears with that Bears defense. I don't know. He feels like the correct and easy play, and you could easily pair him up with a very cheap, and I don't like this either, guys, but you could do it. A very cheap Luke Musgrave. Now, the Bears defense was good against tight ends last year, and I don't like rookie tight ends. I hate them. Okay. Kyle Pitts has been overhyped for way too long. We see that a lot. I mean, Ingram prior to that, TJ Hawkinson prior to that. It just takes a while for them to develop. But the offense, strangely enough, has kind of flowed through Musgrave. So at 2.9. We could also begin his season low in price. So here were the initial quarterbacks I was going to be on. Okay, remember Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, Jordan Love. Those are the easy plays. I also don't mind Brock Purdy now as well. And then I do really like Derek Carr. To me, it's deciding between Derek Carr or Jordan Love. A lot of people are going to say, what about Sam Howell? I did like Sam Howell as an option at his price tag, but without his receiver number 1 and Terry McLaurin, I do worry about his upside a little bit more. Okay, and obviously Jordan Love with Romeo Doubs banged up, that does worry me a little bit as well. So I don't love that, but I do like Matt LaFleur a little bit more as offensive coordinator. So that's kind of why I went Jordan Love. Guys, that's going to be all for this video. Make sure to give a like and subscribe. That lets me know that you guys really love this content. You guys want more of this content. But that's going to be all for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the coverage. If you did, make sure to give a like and subscribe. I do appreciate that. Let's have a good slate. And as always, guys, let's keep cashing.